And when you look at the Kirk Cousins money and you look at the expectations and you look at their coming off their first playoff win of the Cousins era, it would be such a downer. I mean, Minnesota fans, I guess, are used to it. We signed this guy. He was the best free agent quarterback in that year's class. We try to do what we can. We're not making the playoffs. We're getting there. The most coveted.
Yeah.
Let's go coveted.
Yeah, okay, go coveted. Because I was going to say they had a guy named Case Keenum that they could have just re-signed and probably been in the same position they've been in the last 3 years.
Right. Instead, they paid this guy 5 times as much, and essentially, in some ways, he hasn't had one season like Keenum had a few years ago when they were one of the best teams in the NFC. From Kirk's perspective, is it a sort of ride or die game for him just because, again, when you're making that money, it's all guaranteed and you just have one win to show for it through 2 mega contracts. It's 1.5. He completed 1. He's now in another mega contract. 1 playoff win.
Every single game is that way for him, though, right? I mean,
it feels like it, doesn't it?
Yeah. It is. I mean, he went through the streak of not being able to win on prime time games, which are, Thursday night, Sunday night, Monday night type games. He's struggled doing that. He finally got like one of those underneath his belt. And so when you look at it, I understand the money that they paid him, that's starting quarterback money in the National Football League, and some would argue elite starting quarterback money in the National Football League, and he's yet to do the elite side of things. I picked them to win the division because I thought some of the moves that they made in the draft as well as in the offseason, it would certainly push them over the top for the lack of moves that the Green Bay Packers made or even Chicago Bears for that matter. But it hasn't – they've been a team that has started late. They got off to a late start, and they've kind of turned things around with Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, a rookie out of LSU, and Thielen and Rudolph are there doing some things on the offensive side of the ball, the play-action pass game. Gary Kubiak is starting to get a feel for it. It'll be interesting to see if they can score some points, run the football on a Buccaneers defense that has been struggling. That's the important part about what they need to do to be able to have Kirk Cousins have a successful game pushing the ball down the field.
I also think getting out to an early lead, forcing Tampa Bay to throw the ball a ton is obviously what's been leading to the demise of the Bucs.
No doubt. They have gone from 1-5. Key said the slow start from 1-5 to 6-6. So for all the criticism that Cousins gets, that certainly is in his corner. And you're right, they snapped that Monday night streak. Kirk had never went under the lights on a Monday night, but they faced the Bears and he got that one off his back. Sunday Night Football is going to be huge this week.
Yeah, it stinks. It's been a while since we lost a game.
Washington has knocked off the last unbeaten in the NFL.
We're faced with a loss now, so we get an opportunity to smile in the face of it.
It's been fun to watch Josh grow as a leader on our football team.
Touchdown, Bills! Are you kidding me?
We don't want anything to take our focus away from the task at hand, and that is winning the division.
I'd like to consider us a great team. We'll just have to see how we react/bounce back.
Man, after so many years of having the Pats dominate the division, you just heard from Josh Allen there, it certainly seems like they're about to take the crown in the AFC East for the first time in more than a decade. Everybody's going to be looking up, it appears, at the Buffalo Bills. It's a huge game. It's on Sunday Night Football. It's a short week for both teams. Remember, both of these teams played on Monday Night Football just a handful of days ago. Our ESPN NFL insider Diana Rossini will be covering the game Sunday night, and she joins us this morning on Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. Diana, I want to start with Josh Allen. I think we know the consistency of Ben Roethlisberger over 17 years, but a lot of people are wondering, what does your reporting and the people you talk to say about why Josh Allen seems so much more of a crisp, complete quarterback this year versus at this time a year ago?
A lot of credit to Josh Allen and what he was working on in the off season. You know, when you talk to Steelers, quarterback out there with how crisp he was, how productive he was. And, you know, offensive coordinator Brian Dable even said after the game, he just was locked in, which then affected the play calling, which is why he was able to orchestrate what he did and why it was probably one of the best games that we've seen Josh Allen play in the NFL. You know, and guys, we know this team, they love to throw the ball. They have, you know, no qualms about doing it. They lead the league on passes, on first down. And getting the weapons became a really important part of his success. Obviously getting Stephon Diggs, getting that trade to join this team has been tremendous. It's opened up other opportunities for Cole Beasley. So in terms of the mindset of the Steelers going into this game, I'm sensing significant concern. But one part of it is because the Steelers really are on a short week here, and they're coming off, I think it's 3 games in 12 days, right? So they have that working against them. They now got that undefeated record sort of off their shoulders. But now coming into this game, this is a team that's very similar, guys. Neither likes to run the ball. We're going to see a lot of passing in this game. And I do think that the matchup of these receivers for the Bills with the Steelers secondary could be a really big challenge for them.
All guests join us via the Shell Pennzoil Performance line. Diana, Brandon Beam, general manager of the Buffalo Bills, just signed his extension, so clearly the Bills are happy with him and some of the moves that he's made. How important was it for him to go out and get Stephon Diggs so that he can grow and teach Josh Allen how to be a quarterback?
That was probably one of the most significant moves that he has made. But let's not forget, so Sean McDermott joined the team in 2017 as the head coach. They didn't hire a GM until after the draft. That's when he went and grabbed Brandon Beane. So now skip forward to the next draft, head coach, GM together, and the first pick that Brandon Beane makes is Josh Allen. He trades up to get him. And, he took that risk. If you guys remember during that draft, he was criticized for that. We had our own analyst on the air saying, what are they thinking? This is a 0-star recruit out of JUCO who went to Wyoming. This isn't a quarterback that could really turn into what we've seen now. So the fact that he was right on this is huge. And really, he hit it out of the park with getting Diggs, taking that chance of trading out for a first-rounder to get him. And we saw the production that Diggs had in Minnesota, but in terms of where he's at, his comfort, his overall happiness, because, guys, you've seen Diggs enough on TV. You've seen him in press conferences. He's an emotional guy. He's a receiver. You know that. Man. So, he's in a good place. Anytime I talk to Stephon, he's like a different person than he was when I used to talk to him in Minnesota. So the fact that this is all coming together and being orchestrated by an offensive coordinator like Brian Daboll, who's had so much success with this team and has done a really good job play calling, guys, this works. This is a team that is just going to keep improving, which is what we're seing over the last few weeks.
Diana, we only have 30 seconds here. How do you expect the Steelers to respond to their first loss?
I think Mike Tomlin's going to do what Mike Tomlin does best, which is he's going to figure out a way to motivate them. I don't sense that they're panicked after their performance. We know everyone's been talking about the obvious storylines about all the receivers dropping the ball, Ben having to be better. I think that this is going to be a really close game because the Steelers, they want to prove that they're better than what they showed against the Washington football team. And I think we can all argue that the Steelers are a lot better than Washington is. So I assume that they're just going to come back and they're going to respond and play real tough, real hard up in Buffalo.
Ooh, she hit it right on time.
27 seconds.
Oh,
whoa.